rest. I'm talking to you. I don't know who it is, but I'm talking to you. Make some time in your schedule to rest. Somebody out there who is probably going to hear this video, who I hope hears this video. Okay? If you don't rest, God is going to make you rest. So go ahead and start resting, even though you might have a list a mile long of what you need to get done and what you want to get done, and you need to have it done by this time. You need to take that time and you need to go and lay down somewhere or sit down. All right. Hi, loves, and welcome back if you are a returning guest. Thanks for coming back for another video if you are. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Saida, and I am here for another week to do another video. This week, I am, it's been, it's usually, I'm usually have a lot going on. So, I definitely am not going to be before you long. I do want to kind of talk about this topic because I kind of have been talking about what I've been experiencing, and what I've been experiencing this week is rest. Well, actually, lack thereof. So I apologize. I might sound a little stuffed up or whatnot. I am, unfortunately, I am sick. So I did not rest, which is what the Bible calls for us to do. We are to rest not only physically from like working and from the things of life by taking a Sabbath day, but we're also supposed to rest in the Lord and rest in like the peace of the Lord, and then trusting in Him and knowing that He will like take care of whatever it is that we need for Him to do, right? So I was trying to rest, but as a human and wanting to be like, kind of take it upon myself, I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to rest, but I'll have to rest later because I have to get this stuff done. And I'm, trying to, I was telling on my other video about how I was working on some projects for my business. I did finally get a chance to load some of that stuff on there, making some handcrafted items. I've been kind of doing that for the past few years where I just make different items. And this year it is basically mainly like acrylics and stuff. And so I just came up with some things that, I feel like the Lord kind of showed me an idea, and then I kind of tried to bring it to life. And while I was doing that, I also was working my trips because I'm a flight attendant. And so I was also working my trips and attending church and trying to attend other things like just not necessarily requirements, but, trying to still keep up with the social life and attend the monthly groups and stuff that I usually attend. And yeah, got a little bit ahead of myself, and I did not rest. I was actually kind of feeling bad because I was like, okay, how do I rest? But like, how do I still spend time with the Lord the way I need to? And then how do I work on this stuff that needs to get done? Because I had an event, I had my first vendor event on this past Sunday. And so I was trying to get everything done for that. And because it's done by hand, it takes a long time. And I'm self taught. And so it's like a lot of stuff I don't really know what I'm doing. And so I'm kind of just like going and learning as I go. And so, but because I'm doing it by hand and because I'm the only person doing it, it does in its little small pieces and everything like that. And so it takes a very long time to do some of the stuff. And I'm like, man, but I haven't had time to really press in to spend time with the Lord. Then I'm like, okay, I'm spending time with the Lord, but then I'm thinking about what I have to do for my project. And then it's like, okay, I'm working, but now I'm like, it's like the time was just getting taken from each thing. And so I was just really kind of trying to keep up these past 2 weeks. It's just been, it seems like time is flying by so fast, but I did try to keep up and fail. Fail is what happened because now I ended up, I was still working and I was trying to get things done at work. So I took my projects with me to try to finish them at work. And then so I wasn't really resting while I was at work because like our trips sometimes start, we have to get up at 3 and 4 in the morning, and then we have long days. And then when I got to my hotel, I'm working on my stuff for my project, and then I'm trying to do my prayer time and spend time with God and things like that. And so it was just like I really was not allowing myself to really rest at all because I'm like, I just got to get this done. Like once I get this done, once this event happens, like I'm gonna be able to hopefully make my money, and everything will be cool, and then I can rest after that. And yeah, I didn't make it because now because I did not rest, um, now I have a sinus infection where if you don't rest, if you don't listen when God is telling you to do something, He gonna make you do it, right? And so yeah, so I ended up getting a sinus infection and cedar fever, which is like a severe allergic reaction to the cedar pollen in Texas. And I've been getting it ever since I've been down here. I don't think I got it last year, or it wasn't as bad last year. But yeah, it's a severe allergic reaction to the cedar pollen when the trees pollinate. And so it gives off 6 symptoms. It makes you feel like you have runny nose, runny eyes, sneezing, coughing, wheezing, trouble breathing, all the symptoms of being sick. So I ended up going to the doctor, and they're like, oh, well, a lot of people have been thinking that they have this, but they actually are, have COVID. And I'm like, Lord forbid, like, I do not want to have COVID again. I don't think it's COVID at all. Cause like I wasn't having all the symptoms of like COVID, but I was just having like, just like a head cold type of thing. And so, and it's really just been like allergies and stuff, but it has really made me sit down and rest. And so that is what I have been having to do. And now I've actually had to call off work for last week. For I had a 3 day where I was supposed to be working 3 days. Then I was supposed to return back home, and then I was supposed to go on another 3 day trip the next day. That second 3 day trip, I had to call off because I was runny, sneezy, eyes, nose, all of that stuff, all the symptoms of sickness. And then um, now come to this week, and now I had to call off again. And I'm hoping and praying that I don't have to call off again for this next trip because I have a few days that I'm trying to like get well and get better. But of course, if you have not gathered what the message is, rest or else the Lord will make you rest. And so yeah, so have been um trying to rest, but like the medicine, it's weird because it's like the medicine that they gave me is making me restless. So it's like I'm trying to rest and trying to sleep and lay down and all that stuff, but then it's just like, I gotta get up and do this, I gotta get up and do that, I gotta do that. And so when I get up to try to do something, then I'm like, oh well, I'm tired, I'm winded, I need to go lay down, and then I go lay down, and then I'm like watching TV, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be up doing this, this, and that. And I was like, I had to tell myself, like, no, you cannot work on any of your projects. You just did that for the past 2 weeks straight. You cannot do any of that. You need to take a couple days and allow your body to rest. You need to lay down. You need to sit down and just stop. And how hard is it to do that? It's like it's so simple, but it's so hard to like just sit down and rest. It's like, and not just resting like physically, like just laying down, but it's like rest in the fact that like God still knows. He knows everything that you're going through. I'm like, Lord, I gotta, hustle. I gotta get this money for this. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And it's just like God knows. He knows all that. He's gonna provide just like He's been provided. And like it's like resting and trusting in Him that He is gonna provide all of your needs. And sometimes it's like we're like, oh, I gotta hustle. I gotta go out here. I used to drive when I was in Atlanta. I used to drive Uber all the time, and I was just constantly like, oh, I have to go out here, I have to drive, and I would drive like 8 hours sometimes, and I literally would make like what 60 something dollars just driving like 8 hours. And it's like then I gotta put at least 20 in my tank, sometimes 40. And so it was like I really wasn't making any money, and it was like I was so tired, and I'm like trying to pay this bill and trying to pay that bill, and it's just like it got to the point where, like, even with my other little odd end jobs I was doing, I was picking up jobs and I was like, doing an independent contractor where I was working this job and working that job. And I remember meeting this lady at my church that I used to know. And so we were working at like a warehouse or whatever. And she ended up calling in and she was just like, I think I ended up having a conversation with her and she was like, yeah, I needed to rest. Like God, God gave me that day to rest. And at the time I didn't understand it because I was just like, how you gonna call in to work, because you need to rest. But it's like sometimes like, yes, you do, like you need to rest. Like even though I know that I have bills to pay, even though I know that like, yeah, I want to hold up my my responsibility of working. I said I'm gonna work this job and everything like that. But there's some days when you literally need to like rest. And I'm not saying like call in to work or anything like that, but it was just like that kind of started to teach me as God took me on a journey of like learning how to rest in Him. It was like I was always working, trying to do this and trying to do that to be able to, keep up with life and keep up with bills and keep up with this and that. And it was just like, then God took me on a journey of like, this is where you rest. Like, even though like things are going crazy right now, I need to spend time in the Lord. I need to just sit and not just like rest as in like sleeping all day or because it talks about being lazy and things like that, but like resting as in like just taking that time, that uninterrupted time, and just being like, okay, I'm gonna rest in the Lord. Like I don't care, like I know that this bill is due tomorrow, but I know God is gonna provide for it. He's done it before, He's gonna do it again. I know that this has to be done, but like I know that I also need to take this time to rest because God rested and He calls for us to rest. We're human. We can only do so much. And so I had went on a journey of like just learning, like where God started like sitting me down. It's like when I wouldn't do it on my own, then it was like something would happen and I end up having to like be off of work for a long time or something. I'm not going to go into all of that right now because I need to be resting because right now I am already I'm like this medicine has me so tired. It's actually about time for my next dosage, but I'm just restless, like I said. But yeah, it just God took me on a journey of like really understanding what it is to rest and to rest in Him. Like we rest physically, but we rest in Him, knowing that like He still will supply our needs and He still is there and like He still wants to spend that time with us. And so basically, yeah, that's what I have been doing this week is not though I ain't gonna lie. So I was not doing that this week. I had my I like I said, I worked my job. I ended up calling off. I kept working on my arts and crafts as much as I could, like sick, trying to work on stuff. And even my friends was like, "You look sick. You need to go lay down." And I'm just like, "No, I got to get this stuff done. I got to get this stuff done." And then I actually did my vendor event. It was a good experience. I will not lie. I didn't do as well as I hoped I would do, and but it was like really nobody who was there really did very well because of the way that they kind of had it set up. It was really hard to see and know where the vendors were and and stuff like that. So I didn't do as well as I would have liked to do, but it was still a great experience. And at first I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm never doing this again. This is like a gamble. I have to spend money and then I don't even know if I'm making money back and then I don't know if I'm making a profit. And then it was just like, as time went on, it was like, I thought about it and I was just like, you know what? Like, it still was a blessing to be able to have the experience. And then I also got a potential client from the experience of someone who wants me to do something else for them. And I was just like, like, thank you, Lord, for that. But and then it was just like that after that day because that was on Sunday and then on Monday I had a trip coming up on Tuesday and I was like, I don't think I'm ready to fly right now. My head is still like clogged up. I can barely breathe out of my nose and I'm just like so I went to the doctor and then that's when they were like, oh yeah, it looks like you have a sinus infection and the cedar fever and whatnot. So they gave me some medicine and then so these last couple of days I have been trying to rest, but I'm like, oh, I gotta clean up my stuff because I had, the place was crazy because, I don't know if when you're like in creative mode. And so the place was all crazy and stuff. And I was like, okay, I got to clean up. And then I cleaned up. And then it's just like, now it's just been like, me intentionally having to be like, rest, girl. Like, go sit down and rest. Cause I'm just like, well, I could be doing this. I gotta get up. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And it's just like, no, you need to go and sit down and rest. And so the reason I'm telling this is because I feel like somebody out there, you need to rest. Okay. If you don't rest, God is gonna make you rest. So go ahead and start resting, even though you might have a list a mile long of what you need to get done and what you want to get done, and you need to have it done by this time. You need to take that time and you need to go and lay down somewhere or sit down. Just go and I watched the movie and it was like an hour and 38 minutes, and I was just like, ugh, like, when is the movie about to be up? And like, I usually like watching TV, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta no rest. Even though I was like sitting there watching a movie and I felt like I was wasting time, it's like, no, you need to rest. You've been constantly on go mode, go mode, go mode. You need to sit down and you need to rest. And then not even just saying watch a movie. I mean, you can read a book, you can, do whatever makes you happy. Listen to music, read a book, whatever. But then also outside of that time of like physically laying there and like, or physically just sitting there and allowing your body to rest, also take that time to like connect with the Lord. And I had to like, take the time, like now, even at the end of the night or whatever, I've just been turning off my, like, I have on the TV because I like background noise when I'm working on my projects or whatever I'm doing at home. And then now I'm like, okay, let me turn that off and let me turn on some worship music. And I'll just turn on worship music and just spend time listening in the presence of the Lord. And then it's like, okay, now it's time, just like put everything away. Don't focus on any of that. Just spend a few minutes just sitting there in the presence of the Lord, or just talking to Him, or just listening to Him. And so that's what I've been having to do. And I feel like there's definitely somebody out there who is probably going to hear this video, who I hope hears this video, because like, you need to rest. Because if you don't, God will make you rest. And I don't like having to, like, when God makes me do it, like, I would rather do it on my own. But like, He'll give warnings like, you need to rest, you need to rest. Then even my friends are like, you need to rest. And I'm just like, and I'm even telling them like, you need to rest. You need to sit down. Like, this is, even my other friend, I was telling her that she wanted to go and do her little side job. And I was just like, well, you just need to rest. That just must mean God is trying to tell you to rest. And then now I'm the one who, and she's like, well, just like you was just telling me, you just need to rest. Like, when it's not working out right, it's like, like, I really want to do this, I really want to do that. But it's like, God is like, no, you need to rest. So anyway, yeah, just take the time this week and just really, like, if it's something that you have to do, of course you want to get that stuff done. And then I haven't been, like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't been literally sitting here all day just resting. I have went out and ran errands and stuff like that, but I get winded and I'm like, I gotta go lay down. But I've been dividing it up. Like, okay, I know I need to do this, so I'm gonna get this done. But like, this is urgent, like, because I waited kind of to the last minute to do some stuff, which is not good. Don't do that, by the way. But I was like, okay, this is urgent, so let me go ahead and get this done. And so I did the stuff that was like urgent to that time, and then I was like, okay, let me rest. Okay, now I did one load of clothes. All right, I might not be able to do 4 loads right away. I can just do that one. I can go ahead and fold those up. I'm gonna go over here and lay down on this couch. And then earlier I was like, man, because I'm like, this medicine is making me hungry and stuff. And I'm like, I need to cook, but I seasoned my chicken. So I was gonna cook it today. I was gonna cook it yesterday actually, but look, I got it seasoned, and so the cooking is gonna have to wait till tomorrow, because I have to break it up. Because in this time, like, really, you're not supposed to be doing anything, on the Sabbath, or on your Sabbath day that you choose. You're supposed to sit down with the Lord and just, dwell in His presence and read and worship and things like that. But even outside of that, I mean, there are certain things that people still have to do. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm doing my quiet time with the Lord. I was reading my word earlier. I'm gonna read it again later. I was listening to my worship music, I turned on in the car, turned it on while I was sitting here. I started reading my word and stuff. Then I'm like, okay, well, let me go and do, and so I ended up, vacuuming and like just doing a couple other things. But just in the intermittently resting. And then like I said, I just been kind of restless. It's like I'm wanting to do stuff, but it's like my body won't let me because it's like, okay, I get up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then it's like, oh man, I'm tired. I need to go lay down. And then I'll go lay down and I'm sitting there and watching TV and I'm like, okay, I gotta get up and do this. And so it's just been that just back and forth for me, and it is driving me bonkers because I'm like, okay, look, either I want to sleep or I want to get up and do something. So what you gonna do? Because I don't like having to keep going back and forth doing this over and over again. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I don't even remember if I mentioned this last week. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. My head is like still so like clouded right now. But I don't remember what I did or what I talked about last week. I'm still working on being consistent because I'm just like, Lord, like I'm sick. Like, do I really have to? But being consistent doesn't matter if you're sick or not. And I've been doing other stuff, like I said. So technically, I ain't that sick to where I can't, at least talk. But I know that like working would have made it worse because that fluid and all that stuff in your ears and stuff. Oh my gosh, and going up and down and doing multiple flights. Ooh, child, I wasn't gonna be able to do that. But as far as like just I'm on the ground, so I could still do certain stuff. So anyway, yeah, just make sure that you take the time and like really rest, not just rest physically, but like rest in the Lord. And like, it does not matter what you have going on. It does not matter like what's coming up. It doesn't matter that like these bills are due. It doesn't matter that like all of this stuff, like rest in the Lord, like trust in him and like he will provide, he will supply all your needs and like just trust in him that like as long as it's not the end of the world, you know what I'm saying? Like there are certain stuff that you have to do that is going to be the end of the world if you don't do it, but or the end of the world for you or whatever is going on. But if it's certain things that you can just, like okay, I can only do what I could do, and then the rest of you just gotta give it to God. And like, the scripture talks about like all those who are weary and heavy laden. And I do think I did speak something about this before, but just we make ourselves weary and heavy laden sometimes because we take so much responsibility on ourselves. And it's just like God is just like, are you done yet? Like, are you gonna sit down and just trust me and just rest in me and know that I am sovereign and that I am here and that I can take care of this for you? Are you going to allow me to take care of this for you? Or are you going to try to run yourself ragged because you're going to continue trying to do it yourself instead of listening to what I'm trying to tell you to do, which is go sit down and rest because you only can do what you can do anyway. And his power is so much higher than ours and he can do so much more. So it's like, sometimes he'll just let us run around just looking crazy, like, and it's just like, Lord is like, okay, are you done yet? Like, just go sit down, child, and just go call on me and go spend some time with my presence and just let me take care of this. So, rest. I'm talking to you. I don't know who it is, but I'm talking to you. Make some time in your schedule to rest. Rest your mind, rest your body, rest your soul, and rest in the presence of the Lord and allow him to speak to you, speak to him, listen to some worship music or something, and just take that, even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes, rest. Take that time and rest, okay? Because you do not want him to shut you down and make you rest. Because I didn't heard of lots of different people that didn't had to sit down and rest, and it'd be like they didn't broke their foot and they didn't, got in a car accident and all kinds of stuff. You don't know how he gonna make you rest. Right now I'm grateful that it's just like, oh, I got a little, allergy, sickness or something, because it could have been something so much worse. Um, I've actually broke my finger before at work and had to be off for a few weeks. I did hurt my shoulder and more than once and had to be off for months at a time. So, and that was because probably, in those seasons, if I really look back at it, God was telling me to rest. And it was like I was still kind of trying to do my own thing. So you don't know how he's gonna make you rest, and you don't want him to make you rest. You wanna rest on your own. That way you don't have to worry about it taking away more time. Because even if you decide, oh, I'm not gonna rest right now, okay, well then when God make you rest, now I'm missing. I didn't miss 6 days of work because I didn't rest whenever I could have rested before, you know. So, and then I might end up missing this next trip, which would be 9 days of work. Ain't nobody trying to, I mean, you know, ain't nobody trying to miss that much work because I got things to do and I got bills to pay, you know. But I'm just like, and then it's a nice sunny day outside. It's getting hot outside. I'm out here with a mask on, looking like, barely can breathe, hot, tired, can't barely breathe to get to and from the car, coughing, sneezing. I was in the store. Oh my gosh, start coughing and stuff. I'm trying to get out the line. It was just a whole mess. But trust me, you don't want him to make you rest. You want to rest on your own right now while you have the time and the consent to be able to do it, because you don't want God to take away your consent. Okay, I'm just telling you that. But anyway, yeah, that's really all I have to say. I'm getting ready to go and rest right now because, oh yeah, it's time for me to take my next dose of medicine, and then go over here and lay down and rest, because for some reason I can't sleep because it's medicine. But hopefully I'll be sleepy soon. I can go ahead and go to sleep. But yeah, just listen, take heed. If God is telling you, I feel like even if you hearing this message, like you like, who is this crazy lady? What's she talking about? But look, if you hearing this message, then that means it's meant for you to hear that it's time for you to rest, and you need to put that time in your schedule that you're going to rest at this time, and you're going to rest. And you also need to rest in the presence of the Lord and read your word, and probably read about resting and learn what it is to really rest in his presence and really rest in him. So anyway, um, like I said, that's all I got to say. I'm tired. I'm about to go rest. So thanks so much for tuning in. And I hope y'all are able to get some rest this week on your own accord. And I hope that y'all have a great week. And thanks for tuning in. Please come back, like, comment, subscribe. And I'm gonna try to get geared up to start doing some more content, hopefully. But yeah, thanks for returning. If you return, that really is great, to have somebody come back. Hope I'm saying something that makes sense. But yeah, so anyway, y'all have a good week. Y'all get some rest. Really rest in the Lord. Okay, rest in him, trust in him, rest your body, rest your mind, rest your soul. Rest. Just rest. Okay. All right. Bye, loves.